What's approaching the supreme moment? Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead.
What's good? Hopefully enjoying your weekend. Alright, let's go ahead and test out the Metacolor team on Super Battle Road. I think quite a few of you guys had asked about this. And just as much as you guys were curious, I was curious as well. So let's go ahead and test out how this team's capability is. And this is really a good place to test out a team's, real potential because let's face it, Boss Rush 6, even though it's pretty difficult, this is much more difficult in terms of, the enemy's attack and defense. So it's a good spot to kind of test out new categories. So this is the extreme stage within the Super Battle Road. It's only currently available in JP right now, but we've got the Metacolor team pretty much. I did include the Agility Turles unit because you do want to have at least one unit that has a decent chance to stun the enemy, because obviously it's important to minimize incoming attacks within the stage, because you are limited to a certain amount of items, and they can actually provide a lot of damage toward your team. So yeah, HP, like you saw there, 280,000 took a hit for that. So things can definitely change in a blink of an eye in this Super Battle Road setting. So like I said, it's a fun little area to test out a team's capability. So the units included, you do have the friendly, that is the 100% version Extreme Agility Metacolor unit. I think it was level 17 for additional attacks, so very focused, heavy focus on multiple attacks and maximizing the damage output. So we do have the transformation into the giant form, so that'll definitely help out with minimizing damage taken. And looks to be about 1.4 million with the damage potential wise once in the giant form. So certainly not bad. And with criticals and additional attacks, this transformed version could definitely provide a lot of damage for the team in this event. The other included units are going to be the Tech Golden Frieza, obviously for tanking purposes. You've got the physical type Final Form Cooler unit, very good unit as well. I'm trying to think who else. Obviously the LR Metacolor Army is also on here. I did include the LR Frieza as well because a few of you guys were commenting in the last video about how his capability is within this category. So I decided to put him in this one just to see what his potential is. So in terms of the potential system, it ranges. A couple of them are at 100% potential versus some that are at 90% versus some that maybe have one dupe or whatnot. So it'll range in terms of the actual potential system levels, but overall the team does seem to work pretty well even with this setting. And obviously the usage of certain items will be important, and the timing of it. So you'll kind of see my thought process on how I go about going through this Battle Road setting. So these are the items that I have. Android 8, 70% HP recovery and 50% damage reduction for 2 turns. The Snake Princess will recover 55% HP as well as 30% damage reduction for 1 turn. I brought in the Ghost Usher that does negate attacks for the round or push it back for the next. And then the Nurse Chi-Chi item will reduce enemies' attack and defense by 77% for 1 turn. So very helpful when you're trying to plow through a stage with a lot of enemies. It's good to use that item when you have strong units that are capable of providing a lot of damage. So again, the cooler unit definitely seems to shine with this team category. It's a 170% boost to all stats, HP, attack, and defense, as well as a +3 key boost. So, helps out quite a bit. And then the extreme agility types get a 90% boost to HP, attack, and defense, +3 key. So that's why Turles is included. And obviously, when he transforms, it's a 80% reduction to super type enemies' defense, as well as a high chance to stun. So a lot of good things there. I think he raises his own attack by 120% once transformed. So definitely a decent unit. He's not gonna hit for that much. Really, the purpose of including this unit on the team for Battle Road is for that stunning capability. The damage reduction or defense decrease for super types, I mean, that definitely does help. The other thing beneficial of bringing in Turles is the 40% increase to attack as well as a ki boost, I believe. So definitely a good unit to include to help out, the overall team, and definitely beneficial to have him on. It definitely makes you a little bit wary of item conservation, usage, and timing of it. Rotations you definitely do have to kind of consider and keep in mind, So, having Turles definitely helped for this rotation because you've got 2 agility types, and they could have potentially taken a decent amount of damage, even though his Goten's attack was probably reduced to a point where it probably wouldn't have hurt the Metal Cooler units too much. But it's always good to be careful than take too many risks. You know what I mean? So, in terms of that, Turles is a beneficial unit to include. The Final Form Cooler unit is at level 11 for additional attack and level 15 for criticals. That's currently the setup for that. Like I said, the Friends Agility Metal Cooler is pretty much level 17 for additional attack, and I think level 3 or so for criticals. So pretty much the friendly that I use went with a priority shift toward additional attack versus anything else. So this is an instance where you are facing a total of 5 enemies, so you do have a lot of incoming attacks. Even though I have 2 pretty good defenders, actually 3, because LR Frieza can actually defend pretty well too. But in this case, I definitely do want to use an item because they do tend to hit very hard, depending on if a super attack activates on the enemy side. So this is one of those situations where it's probably a good idea to use an item. That's just kind of my personal approach. Rather be a little bit careful than take too many risks. But at the same time, it's like, do you want to waste an item potentially when you don't necessarily need one? But it's like I said, it's always better to be careful than sorry. So that's pretty much the format with that. And we'll get to be able to see the 18 key super with LR Frieza as well, so let's kind of see how he does. The LR Metal Cooler Army is at 100% potential as well, level 9 for additional attack, level 12 for criticals, and just kept it at level 5 for evasion. That unit does have the ability to increase attack and defense by I believe 90% based on the HP level. So the greater the HP, the higher that boost will be. So he can defend pretty well in this setting, and provide a decent amount of attack as well. So we'll go ahead and drop that attack and defense by 74% for 1 turn on the enemy side, just to take minimal damage. It allows for the agility Metal Cooler unit to increase that passive attack as much as possible this round, and when he comes back around, he'll be able to hit for a pretty good amount. And hopefully Turles will stun one of the units to make things a little bit easier. It is definitely a very fun team to run. I think I saw a comment in the last video of, is this going to be one of your favorite teams now? Yeah, I mean, right now, Movie Bosses, Resurrected Warriors, and this team are definitely amongst one of my favorite teams to run. I think, I mentioned this on the other video with the 100% potential free-to-play Metal Cooler units showcase video, but I've been actually running that team a lot with the Agility Metal Cooler Seminole version as lead, and then just include a bunch of the free-to-play Metal Cooler units at 100% potential, as well as the LR Metal Cooler Army. That team is actually very fun to run, and if you haven't checked the video out, I can certainly include the the link in the pinned comment. But it's also a very fun team to run, and the great thing about it is it's a free-to-play. Mostly free-to-play team setup. Well, if you include LR Metal Cooler Army as free-to-play, or classify them as such, then yeah, they're pretty much all free-to-play except for the leaders. So it's a fun team to run for sure. This stuff definitely makes you think a little bit and makes sure you're making the right decisions every rotation, because one slip up and it definitely can bite you in the ass, you know what I mean? So definitely worthwhile to kind of think things through a little bit before making some decisions. I know a lot of people try to like speed through it as fast as possible, but for me it's all about whether you're able to clear it or not. That's the most important thing. And each of the units do have, the ability to either reduce attack, reduce defense, whatnot. So they all kind of mesh together and benefit each other in their own each little way. So it does help out, the team overall in terms of fluidity and balance overall. So like I keep saying, it's definitely a pretty fun team to run. And for those fortunate to be able to pull the unit, it's a very good team. It's definitely becoming easily within the top 5 teams for me. And that all, depends on the current deck that you have. But in my case, it's definitely easily within the top 5 teams, category teams right now. The best thing about it is just really fun to run this team, So with the passive increases to attack, you saw that it's up to like 2.8 million potential wise. So that definitely does add up based on the number of attacks that the unit does receive. So it might take some time to actually get that full benefit, but when it does get there, it does make a big difference. LR Frieza, I gave that unit pretty much level 20 for criticals, just to get that unit to hit as hard as possible, as much as possible, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much the format with that one. Luckily, the Dokkan mode gauge is left over for the new battle, which is going to be the very last one, so that is definitely pretty fortunate there. Sometimes things won't work out that way, and you end up wasting the Dokkan mode like with only 1 or 2 enemies left within the second stage, so sometimes that's a little bit unfortunate. So since I do know that Dokkan mode is going to activate, we're definitely going to drop the enemy's attack and defense for 1 turn by 74% with the Nurse Chi-Chi item. The LR Meta Cooler has the 18 key super. Hopefully some additionals with the super attack will kick in afterwards, but we'll see how things are with that. So unfortunately no critical there, but did hit for about 3 million. That definitely does help. Probably reduce Vegeta's HP levels to about 50% remaining. Didn't really get that many additionals and even a super attack, so a little bit unfortunate there, but shit does happen, and the next rotation should be fine. They'll be able to provide a pretty decent amount of damage since the 100% version of the agility metal cooler is coming up, so that'll be okay. It'd be nice if Turles is able to stun here, but it is a medium chance at the end of the day, so it's not as frequent, but frequent enough, I guess, is the best way to put it. So this is one of those instances where you definitely want to use an item just to be on the safe side. You've got type advantage situation for each unit in the rotation for each slot here. So, we've got the items to use. You might as well use it. That's my philosophy. If you got the items, go ahead and use it. If you know what you're doing, I guess. Just make sure you don't become too irrational and panic and use up all the items too quickly, because that can backfire very easily too. So slowly getting Vegeta's level down, and instead of focusing on one unit, I just kind of went with a balance between the two. Just gradually decrease both of them little by little based on, type advantage scenarios. But sometimes that can definitely make things difficult because you are looking at a lot of attacks because there are still 2 remaining units to get rid of. But we've got items left over, and the LR version of Cooler, Metal Cooler, can provide a pretty decent amount of damage toward Vegeta here. So at this point, I'm not really that concerned. Out of the battlefield exchangeable units, you definitely do want to focus on this unit. I think out of the selection, it's definitely the best out of all the available units, in my opinion. So that's kind of my opinion on it. This is the 100% version too, so if you're debating on whether to invest a copy or even duplicates, hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of what to expect at 100% potential with this scenario. Obviously it depends on what type of team or category you run, but this is pretty much within that new Frieza clan category. That's pretty much how the LR version performs. So in this case, I thought about using an item because there were plenty left over, but I think Goku's HP is low enough to where, the 3 attacking units should have more than enough firepower to take care of business. So just kind of go with it. There is 2 attacks coming against the Final Form Cooler unit, but hopefully nothing bad happens. You never know, but it's. Sometimes, you're not quite sure what'll happen, but pretty much the HP levels are close to 0 right now, and Cooler's, he's going to be fine. So yeah, that is pretty much the category with the Extreme Agility Meta Cooler unit as lead. That's pretty much the team setup on Super Battle Road. Test it out. So it's definitely a fun team to run. I would definitely check it out if if you're fortunate enough to pull the unit. It's definitely a fun team to run. I'm sure you all know. So definitely appreciate you watching, and definitely stay tuned for next time.